Greetings everyone, welcome to ChessAdvancedd. This game was played in FIDE World Cup, and with the white pieces we have the magician Divya Deshmukh facing off against an opponent that she played recently earlier this year. His name is Stamatis Kourkoulos, and he is from Greece. And they played a game in Prague Masters. That was the last round that Divya had, and that was a really tough tournament, and she managed to win a spectacular game against him, and that too with a queen sacrifice. I've showed that game on my channel, and but now she's facing him again. Let's see what she has in mind with the white pieces. She goes for d4. We have knight to f6, c4, e6, and just knight to c3. This is the Indian game, and just bishop to b4. We transfers into the nimzo. e3 now. This is the normal line. Castles. a3, just asking what are you doing. Do you have in mind maybe you could just going with the bishop back and not trading the bishop early on? Here just bishop captures on c3 was played. B captures d6 now, and here just knight to e2. So this is the standard line, and now Divya took actually some time because I think she was not prepared for the move that black played, or it could be that she was trying to calculate a line that she had prepped. Sometimes even even the top grandmasters forget their preparation, and it happens to everyone. Here in this position, Korkoulous goes for c5, and now just going for this very nice knight to g3, just developing and also making some room for this bishop to develop to either d3 or to e2. And here just knight to c6, bishop to e2 now, and just b6 in this position, just trying to fiend get to the bishop, also in some lines trying to get the bishop to a6, and to harass that double c4 pawn. And here just castles was played by Divya, and Stematis in this completely goes at the pawn, and he goes for bishop to a6, trying to target that c4 pawn. And it seems like there's no easy way to defend that, because you're gonna go to knight to a5, and then you're just gonna attack the pawn once more. How are you going to defend this pawn? Here in this position, Divya chooses a very radical approach. She goes for the attack, and she goes after Arditis king, and she says that you want to come after my pawns, you can grab pawns. I'll be going all out because this is the white pieces, and I'm not gonna get this opportunity again. So in this position, she sacrifices a pawn, and she goes for e4, and that's the reason why she did not develop the bishop to d3, because now you can actually take, and the bishop would be blocking, and you would be able to capture the pawn. So that was the idea, and very nice preparation by Divya. And here in this position, knight to a5, immediately going after the pawn. And Stematis, the thing is that Divya was taking a lot of time, although it was her preparation. And I think once you get confused in your preparation, just somewhere along the line, you try to take more time to be able to understand the intricacies of it, and try to remember it. And with that, Divya took a lot of time, and now Stematis is actually up on time, so that's gonna that's not gonna come back those time. And when you're attacking, you really need time. And in this position, Divya goes completely off the rails, and she starts attacking, and she goes for f4, and f4 is a beautiful move in this position, and Divya managed to create some imbalance in the position. And that's what you want. Sometimes you want the imbalance in the position. If you try to go for drawish lines and go for a draw with the white pieces, next game you're going to have to face the person with the white pieces, and when they get the opportunity, they will start to attack, and you're going to have to suffer for the rest of the game. And one blunder you make, and you'll just regret that you did not take your chances with the white pieces. So you don't want that to happen. And Divya in that regard is a completely amazing attacker. Whenever she gets a chance, she always try to go for the win, and that's a really great quality of the champions. In this position, here Stematis goes for c caps on d4, c captures, and now just going for this bishop caps on c4, just grabbing the pawn that they've sacrificed. And here you could completely go off the rails and try to attack like really crazily, go for this idea with f5. F5 is a beautiful move in this position. The thing is that you cannot even capture this. I mean, you will just give my pieces the better squares that they want to. And here after h6, now you just go for this bishop caps on c4. You sacrifice the bishop area, and yes, believe me, I know it looks bad, but believe me, just trust me on this one. This is the best move. You play knight captures, and after rook to b1, rook to b1 is a crucial move. You have to play this, and after rook to c8, now you just go for this rook to b3. The reason for giving up the bishop pair was your entire attack was banking on the fact that the knight on a5 will never be able to support this piece, and once you've taken away the g5 square from my bishop to be able to create this pin and to go for knight to h5, I have to look for other ways to be able to try and attack towards the king side. And I'm also stopping your pawn. I'm also doing everything else that's supposed to be. I have the center. Yes, your pieces are active, but they're not that active. And with the bishop, with the queen, and with the knight, I can try to create some sort of counterplay where your extra pawn will not seem like as that much, and you're gonna have to somewhere down the line regret having that extra pawn because my attack will be so strong. So that's the idea. And in this position here, king to h7 was played. Could have been played. And after this, knight to h5, you go for knight captures, queen captures. The queen is already there, bishop is already there. You can just go ahead, and the game is looking like it's coming alive for the white pieces, and that's exactly what Divya wanted. But in this position, instead of going for all of these things after bishop captures on c4, Divya goes for bishop captures right away and goes for the radical part of the line that I showed you just previously, and here just knight captures. And in this position, Divya chooses to go for f5, and this is a beautiful move in this position right here. e5, and Divya goes for the best move, but there was a beautiful line in this position which was not exactly like revolves and begins with the best move, but it's a amazing line nonetheless. Here the idea is bishop to g5, and once you see bishop to g5, it's a very annoying pin. You don't want that to happen, because how are you going to get rid of this pin? You cannot. If you move the queen, then I just capture and your entire king side becomes weak, and my attack just really starts to come alive. So you don't want that to happen. So let's say you try to push the bishop back with h6, and bishop to h4, you don't have this because of en passant, so you have to be careful. And in this position, yes, you are seeing it right, you can actually fork my queen, fork my rook, and that can happen. So if you do decide to go for my rook, there's a beautiful move in this position. Hey, queen to e2, and in this position you can actually sack the piece, sack the rook. And here in this position, knight captures. And you must be wondering why I didn't ask you to pause the video and try and find out all these moves. Well, I'm going to do it now. Pause the video and try and find out the only move in this position which gives white an attacking chances. So have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is this beautiful knight to h5, and now there's a double pin, and now you're in a lot of trouble. The knight cannot escape. You can grab a pawn, but that pawns, I was sacrificing it right from the get-go. I don't care about pawns. And here, after this knight caps on h2, you play d caps on e5, knight h to g4. Yes, you seem like you just managed to do something, but hey, just d caps on f6, and after knight to e5, you just play rook to f1, and the game is really about to begin. And those pawns are not going to matter that much. That attack towards the king side really is amazing, and the game will give Divya a lot of counterplay in this position to be able to try and go for the win with this attack. And yes, g6 is coming, but you have various moves in this position. You can also play f caps on g6. You can play queen to c8, you can play also g7. There's a lot of things, but the fact of the matter is that Divya would have really nice chances in this position. But after e5, she goes for queen to e2. Queen to e2, by the way, is the best move recommended by the engine. And here just b5. And now in this position, you were really supposed to go for the idea with bishop to g5. Now if you go for bishop to g5, it's a little bit different, because you are covering the e3 square for the knight, and knight can never jump in this position now. But e captures on t4, and you must be wondering, well, you just sacked one pawn, now you've sacked another pawn, are you crazy? Well, not really. Not on normal days. But here, queen to d3, and after h6, you're pushing the bishop back, you play bishop to h4, and now even g5, then f caps on g6, f captures, and here just knight to e2. This is the idea. You just get this pawn right back, and you don't have to worry about much. Queen to e7 if you play, then just comes bishop captures, rook captures, knight caps on d4, and here just rook captures on f1, and the game will go on most likely. You can just capture it back, and you have an active knight on d4. You have some control over towards the f1. Your king side is a little bit shattered, so compensation comes in those forms. And yes, you do have an extra pawn, but that won't matter. This position would most likely go on to become a draw, or maybe white will have a little advantage because of the active pieces. But after b5, here d caps on e5 was played by Divya, and d caps on e5 just releases the tension, and definitely that's something that you don't want to do. Maybe she was wondering that I have already sacrificed a pawn, and now if that pawn gets captured, and what will happen then? And it's a reasonable thing, but the thing is that here, going all out and right from the get-go is sometimes difficult. And once you're starting the tournament, you have to really be in that mindset that I'm just going to go all out. I don't care what the result is. We'll see. We'll try to create chances with the white pieces. We already have one game at the back of it. Even if we lose this with the white pieces, at least you'll have that semblance that you just went on, attacked, you gave your best, chances happened, and you tried to took them. But if it doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way. You don't have to worry about it. Then you can focus on the second game with the peace in your heart that at least you gave it your all. But I think That's what Divya might regret in this position, because hey, decaps on e5 is not a good move, but it's not about that she did not want to take chances. She definitely wanted to take chances, but the thing is that hey, she was very much down on the clock, and calculating all of these lines is very, very difficult. I mean, having an engine in front of me here and trying to see all of this is very easy, and but still, I mean, for them it's all of the emotions, plus all of the people watching, plus you have to make your country proud, and plus with all of these calculations, it's not that easy. Hey, decaps on e5 was played by Arditis, and hey, just rook to b1. She finds rook to b1, but it's a little bit too late. Hey, rook to b8, and now just comes king to h1, and now h6. And now h6, bishop is never jumping in. Where are you going to put the bishop to be able to develop? Because here all of this is taken, and you cannot go here because the knight captures. So in this position here, after rook to b3, she finds the idea of actually getting the rook there as well, that I showed you in the previous line. There was two lines with bishop to g5. This is from the second line, and in the second line you had to go for this rook to b3 idea to be able to get some attack going. She finds the idea, but the thing is that it's a bit too late now. Hey, rook to b6 was played by Arditis. He just a4. We have a6, a captures, and bishop to e3, and now attacking this, and also allowing this captures, but Arditis just goes for captures, knight captures, queen captures, and he just plays queen to d6 and says that this endgame is going to be very difficult to defend. And he is right in some ways, but will he be able to play this accurately? Well, that's a different question. Here, rook to c1 was played, and now just comes to rook to d8, h3, and just queen to d4, asking for a trade. I mean, you can go for queen to e2, but then it's just so many trades are possible in this position that somewhere along the line you're gonna have to trade. So in this position, Divya just goes for it. Queen captures, rook captures, and here she goes for rook to c5, targeting this pawn, but she gives up the e4 pawn, and obviously you cannot take it with the rook because the knight is also protecting it. So here just knight caps on e4 was played, and Divya goes for rook caps on e5, and Stematis almost fell for it, because hey, knight caps on g3, rook captures, and when I was looking at this position, how do you actually win this? You do have a pass pawn, you can push it. I mean, you can just push the pawn all the way and your position should be really completely winning. But should you really go and push the pawn as you wanted to? Because there is only one winning move in this position, and if you want to go at it, you can go at it, but I'll just show you. The move is actually rook to b8 to not allow this check. The move is not b4. Endgames are very tricky. Here in this position, Arditis goes for b4, but now Divya has a chance to come back into the game. And the thing is that the only problem with all of this is that, I mean, Divya must be really grateful to get this chance to be able to finally come back into the game and draw this endgame with two rooks. But the problem is she's down to her last minute, and all of those time for attacking is not coming back, and she has to find it within 50 seconds. And the problem is, in endgames, once you're really not looking for a move, you'll never find it. You'll never ever find it. You'll just go for the normal idea and the natural move, and you will never find the idea. If you just find even the hints of that there could be a possible idea in this position, then you go for it, otherwise you don't. And in this position here, the thing is that here rook to e8 check was a draw. Yes, it was a draw. King to h7, you play rook to e7, and after rook to f6 in this position, trying to just capture this pawn, you just play rook to f3 and rook to b6 now, just trying to go after the pawn, but you have this rook captures on f7, b3, you have rook to g3 trying to go for this, and after king to h8, you can just repeat moves, and most likely here you will go for this draw. All of this was available, but Divya did not find the idea on time, and unfortunately here after b4 she played rook to b3, just stopping the pawn, and now it's a different story. And now it's a very, very difficult position, because now the thing is that she's on move 31. You still have to make 9 more moves to reach time control, and with that Divya's position is looking very difficult, because there is an outside pass pawn, and outside passes are just very difficult to stop. Here rook to b7 was played, now just comes rook to a5, h5 now, but just f6. F6 is the best move in this position, so Divya finds the best move. Hit g6, but now the trouble is she is down to just 25 seconds, and it's just very difficult because you still have to make 7 more moves. And in this position she goes for rook to 8. You could have also gone for g4 in this position. That was the last resort that you had to be able to try and hope that this position goes for a draw. After h4 you play g5, rook to c7, and now after rook to e3 you just play rook to d2, rook to a1, and after rook to c3. The thing is that it's just very difficult to be able to try and stop this position. Rook caps on h3 is not even a possibility in this position. So what you want to do is here rook to e3, and after this rook captures on h3. Now it's going to be, it would have been game over, but the thing is that at least it would have given some chance for Stematis to maybe find all of these moves and find it on time. But after g6 here, a rook to a check was played, trying to go for some checks in this position so that maybe you'll be able to harass the black king, but you are unfortunately not on time. If Divya had two more tempers, she would be. Here after king to h7, rook to e3 was played, b3, and now just comes rook e to e8, king to h6. And the thing is that you don't have this. Hey, Divya tries to go for this rook to e5, but you can escape this with g5, and Stematis goes for this rook to a1, and after b2 here just rook to b1, rook to c4, rook e to e1, and king to g6 was played after king to h2 here just rook to c2. And the thing is that there is not much you can do. This, all you have to do is just get the king into the game, and this endgame is completely lost, and Divya knows it as well. So it was on this move, on just move 41, that the magician Divya Deshmukh resigned the game, and Arditis actually won the first game, but Divya is really gonna have to bounce back strong in the final one, because that will be what will decide if she's able to move forward in the FIDE World Cup. And she's really gonna have to just go all out with the black pieces, try to create as many chances, because even a draw is enough for Stematis to be able to just go for this. And if they draw the game, then you have actually a chance to play in the tie breaks that will happen on 3rd November. So Divya will definitely go all out and try to create as many chances, reach into all of the preparation that she has made with her coaches, with her seconds, and this is going to be a really tough one. But at least the thing is that she will have that satisfaction that, you know, she played all out, she created the chances, but at the right time when she really wanted it to. Sometimes it's just one of those days that, you know, once you want the attack to happen, you really need to be in that attacking mindset. And once, as an attacker myself, I mean, once you're not in that space, I mean, it's just a very difficult day. You will try to find the ideas, you will take too much time, and if you're not taking too much time, you will not find the right idea. It's just, you know, it just happens, and someday those moves flow just so naturally that you think that you're just the god of chess. So it's absolutely fine that you know, Divya still has one more round to go, and she can really bounce back. She has beaten him before, so she can do it again, definitely. And I really know that she will, because next, if she beats Arditis in the next round, she's going to be facing Nihal Sarin, and that was a spectacular match, and I think Divya would be preparing for that as well. So she has to win, she will win, and it's going to be a really great comeback. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.